Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is a very fun and exciting video. I'm going to be sharing all of my Sephora sale recommendations with you. This is always such a fun video to film. I do these every Sephora sale, so twice a year. And it's so fun because I basically get to just share my top favorites from every category with you. So it's like sitting and just chatting about all the things that I am obsessed with. So I can't wait to film this video today. If you are new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty and makeup content here on YouTube. I hope you'll stick around, subscribe. I kind of went back and forth on if I was going to just focus on core favorite products that are not new. They're just things that I love and use over and over and over, or if I want to spend a lot of time on the newer things that I've tried and I really love. I'm going to do a little bit of both because it doesn't feel right to just include new things, and it doesn't feel right to not include the newer things and just include older things. So I'm going to do a little bit of both. So if you watch all my videos, a lot of these will not be a shock. They are things you've heard me mention many times, but I'm going to go ahead and mention them again in case you are new to my channel and you want to know what like my tried and true favorites are, but I also have some newer launches that I've been loving sprinkled in as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, we're going to get started with primers. I didn't pick a ton of primers, and actually one of these products is not technically a primer. I just use it as a primer, but the first one is this from Merit. This is the Great Skin Instant Glow Serum. I know I've talked about this in videos before, but it's been a little while. And this is such a unique product. It's a serum, so you can see it kind of separates in the bottle. So you have to really shake it. But this, I am telling you guys, if you have dryness anywhere on your face and you have trouble with your makeup just not laying really nicely because of the dryness, you need this in your life. This is the most hydrating oil serum without being super oily looking or feeling on your skin. It's the weirdest thing. I've never tried anything quite like this, but it is so nice underneath makeup, especially cream makeup. So if you use like a stick foundation or even like the Merit stick foundation over the top of this, match made in heaven. I think it's because creams are typically thicker and a little bit more stiff, and this gives them the perfect medium underneath. If you have drier skin, I'm telling you, you will love it. You can even use this under your eyes and just use a very small amount and kind of tap it on. Give it a minute to really set down and then go on top of it with your concealer or your corrector or whatever you're using. And it just gives your skin the most beautiful hydrated finish without being too much. I can't say enough good things about it. It's got great skincare ingredients as well. There is no smell, which I also love. Highly recommend this. And then the only other primer I wanted to mention is not new at all. This has been around forever, and I have just kind of rediscovered it in the last few months. This Tarte primer, the Tarte Pore Smoothing, Timeless Smoothing Primer. I am blown away by this every single time I use it. I only use it in a specific area on my face. I just focus it right here and right here on the sides of my nose and like right at this front part of my cheek, because that's really the only area on my face that I notice my pores when I apply makeup over the top of my skin. So that's where I use it. But if you have a lot of texture or you just struggle with your pores in general, please get yourself one of these. This is a little mini size, so honestly, you don't need a lot, so this would last you forever. But of all the primers I've ever tried that claim to be smoothing or blurring, none of them do it like this. None of them. Moving on to correctors for the under eyes. You know, this is my thing, and I only picked 2 of them. These are the 2 that you can get at Sephora that I use the most by far. One is new or newer, one is not. The first I won't spend much time on because I talk about this one all the time, but I had to put it in here. The Bobbi Brown Stick Corrector is one of the best out there in my opinion. The shade range is phenomenal, and this is a cream similar to her original corrector. It's just a little bit more lightweight than the original corrector in the compact. I have that one. I love that one also, but this one I just find I reach for more, and I think it's honestly out of convenience the most because I like to be able to just swipe this on. But this has a little bit less coverage than the original, but not by much, just a little bit, and it's fantastic. It does everything you need for color correction under the eyes. It's very easy to blend in. It's not drying, even though it's a cream. It's great. I can't say enough good things about it. I know a lot of you have purchased this because I've been talking about it really since it came out, and I love it. I use the shade Bisque, which is more for blue or purple or red under eyes. But the newer one that launched earlier this year, a few months ago, is the one I have on today, and I've been using this very consistently since it came out. The Huda Beauty Faux Filter Color Corrector in Pink Pomelo. This is, first of all, I love the color. Pink Pomelo is peach, but it has a little bit more pink in it than you sometimes find in peachier shades. I'll put it here for you so you can see, but it is the perfect color. I love this so much. It is a liquid, so it's not a cream like the Bobbi Brown, but when I tell you a little bit of this goes a very long way. Today I even used too much when I applied it, and I only used one dot, but I still use too much. You need the smallest amount. It's very opaque and it spreads, so you really barely need any product here, but this gives me fantastic correction, quite a bit of coverage. I would say like medium to full coverage depending on how much you're using, but this is fantastic. She has 5 shades. I use the lightest one, which is Pink Pomelo, but she has 4 other shades as well. It's hydrating and I love it. It's one of my favorites in my collection, and I have a lot of color correctors. All right, moving on to foundations, one of my favorite categories. We'll start with the one that I'm wearing today. This is a newer launch and I love it. Obviously, it's making it in this video. The Glossier Stretch Foundation. It's a natural finish, which is my personal favorite, so it has a little bit of glow, but it's not a super dewy, radiant foundation. It just falls right in the middle, and it's a solid light medium to medium coverage, but medium, I say loosely. You could build it up and get it to a medium coverage, definitely not any more than that. But this is such a beautiful foundation. It's a bit of a thicker consistency. It's not super runny. You'll see in the B-roll that I have. It's a bit thicker, and because of that, I find honestly you can use like half a pump of this for your whole face unless you really want to build it up, because today I pumped out one whole pump and it was too much. And I still built it up a little bit in areas where I need it the most. But this is just beautiful. And on top of that, this wears really beautifully. I have not noticed any significant issues any of the days that I've worn this. In fact, I've worn this to a football game a few weeks ago, and I was gone really the entire day for like, I don't know, it was close to 12 hours I had this makeup on, and it wears beautifully, which I would not expect from a Glossier product, but I love it. I can't speak highly enough of it. This is what I have on today, and I wear the shade Light number 2. Then I gotta mention 2 that won't surprise you. The first one is this. This is still a holy grail for me, you guys. The Light Reflecting Foundation from NARS. I almost wore this one today, but I figured I have worn this in so many videos, and most of you know how I feel about it, but this is still my go-to event foundation, I would say, even though I don't really go to events. I'm pretty much at home all the time. But if I am doing something special or out of the ordinary, this is the foundation still to this day that I will reach for. I use the shade Deauville and it's just perfection. It's a solid medium coverage. I would say natural finish. I think a lot of people say this is more of a dewy finish. I don't find it to be super, super dewy. I would call it more of a natural finish, but it's beautiful. It gives great coverage. Not a full coverage, but still very good, and it's long wearing, much like the Glossier. This doesn't budge on me throughout the day, whether I prime or I don't, or I powder throughout the day or I don't, it still wears well. And then another one that you've heard me talk about over and over, but that's how you know I love it. Highly recommend this for anybody. The Estee Lauder Double Wear Sheer. This I tried, I don't know, like 6 months ago or so, maybe a little bit longer than that, but this knocked my socks off from the first time that I tried it. It is so thin, almost like a watery consistency, but it gives decent coverage. It's not solid medium coverage, I would say. It's like a light medium, but it looks so pretty on your skin. It is a little bit more of a matte finish than the other two that I've talked about. This is more of a soft matte finish, I would say. And to me, that makes it unique because typically sheer products like this are not typically a matte finish. It reminds me of the Fenty Eavesdrop, the liquid version, which I also love. It's just a little bit thinner and more lightweight than the Fenty. I use the shade 1 and 2, and I also have the shade 2 in 1. I can wear either one. I think probably 1 and 2 is my best shade, but anyway. Highly recommend if you've not tried it. This is a perfect everyday foundation. Moving on to concealer, which is another one of my favorite categories. First, I'll start with the one that I'm wearing today. This is the newest concealer of the ones that I'm going to mention. It's a pretty new launch, and it's the Haus Labs concealer. So the Triclone Skin Tech Concealer, one of the most, I feel like, highly anticipated concealers that has come out this year. Of the new launches, the brand new launches that I've tried, and I'm mainly talking about Haus Labs, Tower 28, and Makeup by Mario, this one is my favorite. This is, I think, similar to the Natasha Denona Hy-Glam Concealer with a little bit less coverage and more of a natural finish. I love Natasha Denona, and that one is actually included in this category, so we'll get to it in a minute. But this one gives medium to full buildable coverage with a little bit more hydration, which I like. I would say it's a natural finish though, and this shade is a pretty good one for me. I wear the shade Light Neutral, number 11. So that is it there. I really enjoy this concealer, really, really enjoy it. I was a bit unsure of it at first. It is a bit of a thicker consistency. It's much thicker than the other formulas. Thicker than Tower 28, thicker than Makeup by Mario, thicker than Natasha Denona. But when you blend it out, it has a beautiful finish. I love a natural finish concealer. Just like I love a natural finish foundation, I also love that in concealer. I also find this concealer does not have to be set. You can set it. In fact, I love it with the Haus Labs powder, the loose powder, but the wear is nice, the coverage is nice, the finish is nice. I really like it. So of the brand new launches, this one is my favorite. However, my ultimate favorite, you guys, is still this one. I'm sorry, I can't say that I like anything more than this one, the Natasha Denona Hy-Glam. I just love it. The coverage is impeccable. It's a thinner formula, thinner for sure than the Haus Labs concealer. This one is more of a soft matte finish when it dries down. It's not matte, like it looks dry on me, but it is a bit more matte than the Haus Labs. But over a glowier base, under the eyes or on your face, this is just fantastic. I have 2 of them because I love it that much. I have N2 and RN3. I like RN3 for under my eyes and N2 all over my face. I wear this all the time, all over, with no foundation, no skin tint, no nothing. And it wears very well. I would say this one wears even a little bit better than the Haus Labs on my skin. It's impeccable. It's impeccable, and the shade range is also impeccable. I think it comes in like 52 shades, which is insane. But I have to say, I've tried some of the new ones and I still like this one the best. And then the third one that I had to put in here, and this is an old product I've been talking about for years at this point, but it has to be in this video, and it's the NARS Soft Matte Concealer. Oh, this concealer, if you've been around for a while, I used to talk about this all the time in a ton of videos. I love to use this all over my face and kind of spot conceal with it, and I love to do that with any kind of glowy base underneath, whether it's Charlotte Hollywood Flawless Filter, the e.l.f. Halo Glow, Say Glowy Super Gel, like something like that, and then put this on your face just where you need it. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. If you have blemishes or anything with a lot of pigment that you want to cover, this is it. This is it. Soft Matte is the name, and that's exactly what it looks like on your face. It's almost like a velvety kind of airbrushed finish on your skin. It is so good. I wear the shade Madeleine in this, and it's just a staple for me. I always have it, and I always will. It's so good. All right, moving right along to powder. I actually only have one. I only have one, and I feel like mine is not what everyone else's is. This powder, I feel, is highly underrated. Highly underrated. This is my favorite powder. It's my favorite powder right now. It has been for a while. The Haus Labs Bio Blurring Loose Setting Powder in the shade Translucent. You guys, I feel like nobody is talking about this. I've been talking about it since I tried it, since this came out with the foundation. This is such a beautiful blurring translucent powder. I like this on my face, and I also like it under my eyes. That is not always the case. A lot of times for me, I will like a certain powder on my face but not under my eyes, or I like it under my eyes but not on my face. I like this one in both places. But this is fantastic, and nobody talks about it. Everybody wants to talk about the Givenchy Prisme Libre powder, which I have, and it's nice, but I reach for this one more. And the Huda powder. Everyone talks about the Huda powder, which is also nice, but this is so good. It is so good. It is lightweight, it does not look powdery on your skin, and it really does smooth. Every time I use it, it's like that Tarte primer, but in a powder. One thing, I guess I'll put this in the powder category. It doesn't really fall into any category, but I am gonna put the Hourglass palette in here because I've been buying these palettes for years, since the beginning of my YouTube channel. And this is by far my favorite one that I've purchased. This is the palette number 1, but in the leopard packaging. I love this. I love every single shade in here, particularly the bronzer. This is a great neutral bronzer if you have fair to light medium skin. It is so nice. It's so nice. And I hate to say it because these palettes are ridiculously expensive and they get me every time. I say I'm not going to buy it and then I do it every single time. But this one is my favorite by far. I've already gotten the most use out of this one of any of my other Hourglass palettes that I've had from previous years. I love the bronzer and I love the blushes, especially this shade right here, which is, it's a limited edition shade. It's not a permanent shade. Rose Fusion. Rose Fusion is just kind of a mauve-y pink. Beautiful, especially for the fall. I just love that kind of color. But I honestly usually kind of mix them both together. This is Diffused Heat, which is a lot brighter of a pink, but I love them. And this highlight, this pinky highlight in here, really, really beautiful. Very subtle skin-like, that ambient lighting finish. So nice. And then you get two of the finishing powders in here, Diffused Light, and then what is this? Ethereal Light, I think. Yeah, Ethereal Light. I love this palette. Highly recommend if you are wanting the Hourglass palette. I do think they're worth it if you feel like you would use them. All right, moving on to bronzers. Again, I didn't pick a ton of things here. I find actually I don't have a ton of bronzers that I feel like so strongly about. I have just a few. So we'll start with primarily what I have on today, and I am very sorry, but I'm going to put these in here because they are very expensive, and if you're ever gonna get them on a sale, now would be the time. Westman Atelier Face Trace Contour Sticks. Okay. I started with Biscuit, which this is majority of what you're seeing on my face. I did add a little bit of the other one that I have, but this is such a good contour, but on me it is a little bit warm. I would call it more neutral. I do think it has a little bit of warmth in it, so it's not a straight like gray ashy color. It's, in my opinion, the perfect contouring type color. So this is what I have on under my cheekbones, on my forehead, and I did bring it down my neck a little bit today, but this is just perfection in my mind. It's easy to blend, easy to apply. It's never too much, like too intense. I find my favorite way to use this is actually to really get it on the back of my hand, to really warm up the product. Then get a brush, whatever you're using. Today I actually used this brush, which I really love, from Makeup by Mario, but it's double-ended, so it has two angled ends. So you have a bigger end and a smaller end. I used the smaller end today, really worked it into the brush, and then just stamped it on. And that's how I typically use the shade Biscuit. I just love it. I love it, and this is one of those expensive products that I do, in fact, think is worth the money. The formula, the color, even the packaging, I love it. I love it and highly recommend from Westman Atelier. I do have Truffle in the larger size, and I did take Truffle after I used Biscuit today with the larger end, and I just kind of dusted it just a little bit all over, but Truffle is deeper and warmer. So this one I definitely don't use as much. Honestly, I probably should have gotten the mini in Truffle. So you can see there's a big difference in the two. So this is Biscuit and this is Truffle. So Biscuit compared to Truffle is definitely cooler in tone, but it's just not a gray, like ashy tone to me. But it's perfect on my skin tone and I love them. And then I could not mention this next product because another product I use and love, as you can see, the Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer. This is one of those products that has been super popular for a while, and it is in fact worth it. It's not overhyped to me. It's worth the money. This is perfect for lighter makeup days or no makeup days. I use the shade Light Medium. It's very sheer and balmy, so you're not gonna get, like, I wouldn't use something like this for a makeup look like I have on today, because I have on a full face of makeup, more makeup than I would wear on an everyday basis. This is more of like, I want just a little bit of a bronze color on my cheeks, but I want to do it quickly. I don't want to make it or have to worry about it looking not blended or too much. You literally cannot mess this product up. It's not possible. It's so sheer and blendable. Anybody can use it. Next up is blush, and of course this was probably one of the hardest categories to narrow down just because I am a blushaholic. I love blush and I narrowed it down as much as I could, okay? First up is probably my favorite, or it is my favorite, and if you're not new to my channel, you know what I'm gonna say. So I love, with all my heart, the Patrick Ta blushes. I talk about them in pretty much every video at this point. Every Sephora video I do, these blushes make it in. But I just keep adding more and more to my collection because I love them so much. Today I have on actually one of his new colors that came out a month or so ago. This is the one I have on today, and it looks very, very scary in the pan, but it is actually very wearable. It's not as scary as it looks. This is the shade She's Giving. So this is very bright, a bit more of a blue-based pink, but not, I wouldn't say there's no warmth in here. There's a little bit of warmth, but it's definitely more of a cooler leaning color. If you like a warmer pink that's bright like this, She's a Doll would be the one that I would choose for you. They're similar, but She's a Doll is just warmer. This one is more blue toned, but I just love these. I just love Patrick Ta blushes. I love that you get the powder and the cream, and I actually wear them the way that he suggests wearing them, which is with the powder first and then the cream. That's what I have on today. Powder first, and then I tapped on a little bit of the cream. But I love all the blushes, you guys. My favorite, if I had to pick one of his blushes, would be this one. She's That Girl, a warm peachy pink. But I've been talking about this for years and years, but I love them all. Very pigmented, but easy to work with, and they're just fantastic. I love them. Then earlier this year, Makeup by Mario released these, and I love these as well. I have 4 of these. The Soft Pop blush veils, I would say the same about these that I said about the Skin Enhancer from Mario. These are like the foolproof blush. If you're somebody that wants a very natural looking blush and you get maybe intimidated or scared of blush, like you're scared you're gonna apply too much, these would be the ones I would direct you to for a cream. I have heard they don't last well on some people. On my skin, personally, I don't have trouble with them not lasting, but I do know if you have trouble with that, you can apply this, lightly powder your face or powder your cheeks with whatever powder you use, and then add a little bit more of this, and that really helps lock them in. But I love them. This is probably my most used Barely Blushing. I also love Perfect Pink. Those are probably my 2 favorites, but they are just so balmy, sheer, glossy looking on your face. I just love them. This is just my favorite kind of everyday cheek product, so highly recommend these. I did just want to mention this as well while we're on blush, because I just got this, but I'm putting this product in because I've already fallen in love with it. This brush, if you love the Patrick Ta blushes or just blush in general, this is a great brush. I used this in the video I was referring to before with the Patrick Ta holiday palette, and this is such a good brush for his blushes. The powder and the cream, they're very, very soft, and this is what I used to apply She's Giving today for blush. Highly recommend this if you're looking for a new blush brush and you want a double-ended one. This one is great. I love it. Anyway, back to the blushes. I have 2 more. Tried to narrow them down, but okay. Next is this one from Givenchy. This came out also earlier this year, the Prisme Libre Loose Blushes. This is shade number 2. I was actually very nervous when I got this because I felt like it might be one of those products that's difficult to apply. It's actually not, believe it or not. They are not super intensely pigmented right off the bat. You can kind of build up the color if you want, but what's most appealing to me about these is that they have that blurring quality that the Prisme Libre powder has, but it's a blush. So you get, it's like you get a little bit of both. You get kind of a setting powder effect, but you get the color of the blush. I don't know, I just don't have anything exactly like this, and I personally love the color 2. So number 2 is a little bit of a warmer pink, and then number 1 I think is more of that blue-based pink, and then there are other warmer colors also. But I feel like I don't have anything like this in my collection. Very luxurious, obviously more of a splurge product, but I have really enjoyed it since I got mine. And lastly is this blush from Dior, the Rosy Glow blush. This is the newer one in Rosewood. I really held off on this for quite a while. I actually have the pink and the coral of the original version before they redid them. When they released these new colors, I wanted this one, but I don't know. I just convinced myself I really didn't need it. It wasn't anything special, but it is. It is in fact special, and what's crazy about it is it does not swatch well. Like, that's it swatched right there. They do not swatch well at all, but when you put them on your face, I think they're supposed to be kind of pH adjusting. I don't know if that's true, but when I use this Rosewood color, it's just it's everything. It is the perfect rosy nude blush. All right, for a highlighter, I only have one. There were a few that I was going to mention, but I figured I would just go with this one. The Westman Atelier Fully Loaded Tinted Highlighter. Yes, another very expensive bougie product, but I like to include products like this in a Sephora recommendations video because sometimes more expensive products aren't worth it. Sometimes they are, especially if you could get them on a discount, which is why I like to include the ones that I love in videos like this. This is the shade Peau de Peche, which I wish you could feel this through the camera. If you're in a Sephora that has these in store, it honestly feels like a paperweight. That's how heavy this is. It comes in this cute little bag, but packaging is very luxe, very just nice. Peau de Peche is the one that I have. This one is more of like kind of a peachy champagne color. I do have this on today. I don't know how well it will show up. I think it does because I have the cream blushes from Patrick Ta on top as well. But this is just so creamy and beautiful. Just like the most radiant, buttery, I've just been out in the sun and I'm just naturally glistening kind of highlighter. It is so beautiful, especially this color on my skin tone. If you've been around for a while, you may remember in summer, I was wearing this on its own. So this shade I can actually get away with using as bronzer, blush, and highlight. It really just blends into my skin and looks like it's coming from within, not sitting on top of my skin, you know? Honestly, I kind of want to get the rose colored one, the lighter pinky one. And then I know they now have the liquid version of this. I don't have the liquid version, so I can't speak to that one, but I kind of want one of those too. I don't know. We'll see what I end up buying during the sale, but I personally highly recommend these if you're wanting to really splurge on a really nice highlight. This is the one. Moving on to brows. I don't have many brow products because honestly, most of my favorite brow products are drugstore. They're not from Sephora, but I do have two things that I use consistently and I would definitely recommend. The first is this from Rare Beauty. I've been using this almost a year now and I love this product. The Shape and Fill Brow Duo is such an underrated product in general, but especially from Rare Beauty. I feel like nobody talks about this, but it is so good. It is so good. It's a powder. I don't know if it's straight powder or if it's more of like a pomade. It feels a little bit more of a drier pomade, but it gives the prettiest, softest look to your brows. If you like more of a soft looking brow, something like this would probably be perfect for you. I use both shades, but I mainly go in with the dark shade on the outer portion of my brow, and then I really only use this lighter one in the very, very inner corner. But this even has a little brush that you pop out of here, and I do actually use this brush, and then you pull this off and there's a little spoolie under there. It's such a cute, practical product and it's good. It's great. I use this all the time. This is what I have in my brows today and I love it. This is the shade Light Brown. And then the only other product and the other product I have in my brows today is this. This is a recent discovery for me, but it's been around forever. I am probably going to buy the full size of this during the sale because I think this is my favorite clear brow gel that I've tried recently, the 24-hour brow setter. I've kind of gotten away from the brow waxes and the brow soap, and I like just a normal brow gel, but I do want it to have a little bit of hold, and this works really well for me. It's not like the laminated look that was very popular for a while that I loved. It's just a very good brow gel that can fluff your brows, but not extreme. And the hold is good, but it's not extreme. So these two are what I have in my brows today, and I love them both. All right, moving on to eyes. I feel like this has also kind of been the year of eyeshadow. There have been a lot of great eyeshadow palette launches this year. So I tried to narrow this down as much as I could, but I do have a few things to share. The first is what I have on my eyes, and I have to say I absolutely love my eyes today. And this is not my typical look. This is a little bit, or it's a lot more cool toned than I normally go with my eyes just on an everyday basis, but I actually love how it turned out today. And it's this Natasha Denona I Need a Nude. I feel like this is going to be in everybody's Sephora sale favorites this year. Like everyone else, I love this palette. I have absolutely not one negative thing to say about it. I think the color story is impeccable. Every shade in here is beautiful. There are no duds in this palette. Every shade in here, I guarantee you will love and use. Today I mainly have these two cooler tones. I have Travertine here on my lid, and then I have Delilah down here on my lid. So I really used most of the gray cooler tone shades in here, but I actually do find this palette to be more neutral. I know it's considered a cooler toned palette, but I do think it can lean more neutral. This warm kind of rosy shade and this warmer shade down here called Wit, those to me in combination with this fair shade and even like a few of these shimmery shades, they can lean more neutral to me. So if you think this would be too cool toned for you, I would personally say it's more neutral. Definitely more for light to medium skin tones for sure. I mean, I can't say enough good things about it. I did do a 3 looks, 1 palette video with this a while back. This is my favorite palette of hers, I will say, that I own by far. Then you know I have to put this in here because this is now back in stock, the Ethereal Eyes palette from Makeup by Mario. Another absolute favorite for me that I don't use a ton anymore in videos because until recently you could not get this palette. They were going for like crazy prices on eBay. You can now get this again, and I love it. Similar vibe for sure to the Natasha Denona palette. So do I think you need both? No, I don't. I think you could definitely get one or the other and get a very similar vibe. I will say there's a few things that I prefer about the Mario palette. I love this warm brown in here, and I love this true chocolate brown in this palette. You don't get that in the Natasha palette, but those are just minor things. The overall vibe and the look that you get from both, very, very similar. I am seeing a few things on social media from people saying the new version of this is not as good as the original. I don't have one of the newer ones in my possession, so I don't know. I'm not sure, but I have been hearing that. If you know anything about that, let us know in the comments. But I will say I love this palette. It's one of my favorites in my collection. And then, of course, it would not be a Blair video if I didn't recommend the Patrick Ta eyeshadow palettes. Again, I'm kind of a broken record with this at this point, but I love these palettes. His most recent one is the Major Dimension 3. That is all matte. I also did a 3 looks 1 palette with this, or maybe I did 2 looks. No, I think I did 3 looks with this as well. So I can link that video for you if you want to go watch that. But I love this palette I love everything Patrick Ta does, but this palette is stunning. Everything you could possibly need eyeshadow wise is in this palette. I love that you get the cream shadows, you get a dark brown and a black. These are just, the blend is impeccable, just impeccable. Very, I would say, buildable shades, so you can wear them a little bit more sheer, or you can really build them up and get more intensity. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about his palettes. I love them. My first love from him was the Major Dimension 1. I put this in every single Sephora video since this palette came out, and it's still making it into this video. I love it. If you like more of a warm palette, this palette definitely leans more on the warm side. It's neutral, but neutral warm. So I also have Major Dimension 2, which is more rosy, pinky tones. I use Major Dimension 1 the most, but I love them. I love these palettes. A few more eyeshadow things. I had to mention this. This is the Kaja Bento Box eyeshadow. I have a few of these, or have 2 of them. But this one came out, I think it was early this year, but this is the shade Forest Night. And if you're not familiar with these, they're cute little trio eyeshadows. So you get a topper shade in this one, which is a really pretty, like, multicolored topper. Then you get more of like a true metallic shade, and then in this one, you get this really pretty kind of khaki brown with some green gold shimmer in it. But these are so nice. The formula is really nice, very high quality. But this color story, if you love those grungy kind of khaki, brown, olivey kind of green colors, Forest Night is perfection. And it's so cute, so tiny, very easy to travel with. If you want just like something quick, easy, 3 shadows and you're done. This is so, so nice. And then the last thing I did want to include, this is a new launch, but I've been using mine a ton. The Merit Single Shadows. I love this for a one and done shadow. I do find these work the best just on their own. I don't find that I love layering a ton of things on top of these. I know I've seen some people using them as like an eyeshadow base. I personally really only use this as like a one and done, and then sometimes I'll take a little bit of bronzer and kind of go over the top just to set it in place, or sometimes I'll take like a glittery eyeshadow or a glitter topper and kind of add just like a little bit of sparkle on the top, but I typically wear this on its own. So I have the shade Eyeshadow, which is just a really nice warm light brown, and I think these are great. The blend is amazing. They last well. I don't find that these crease badly on me either, even if I don't like prime my lids or anything. And I think I have pretty oily eyelids, but this is such a good, just easy one and done, throw something on your eyes in like 30 seconds and that's it. I use mine all the time. In fact, I really want to get another shade. I'm not sure which one. I kind of want either the green one, the dark green, or I know there's a dark brown and then like a medium brown. I don't know. I kind of want another one though. My only issue with these that I want to point out, and I don't hear many people talking about this, but these are really hard to close. Like, you have to really pull it tight to close, and then it's supposed to make like a snapping noise. It doesn't always do that though. And then sometimes they're kind of hard to open up. So I don't know. I don't love the packaging, like this lid. But other than that, I've really enjoyed it, and I do recommend as a good one and done shadow. I have a few eyeliners that I wanted to mention. You've heard me talk about all of these before. This one is the one I have on today. This is Charlotte Tilbury, the Classic Eye Powder Pencil. This is another product I've been using for years at this point. I've been through a few of these. This one is in the shade brown, but this is just an eyeshadow and a pencil. So if you like a softer eyeliner look, or you like a winged liner, but you want it to look a little bit more on the soft side, I love this. I love this also because it's just easier to use. If eyeliner is not easy for you and you find that you always get too much, you just have trouble working with eyeliners, This one is so nice, and I have not found another eyeliner from another brand that is similar to this. Maybe there is one out there, but I just reach for this constantly. I love the brown color. It's very soft, good for every day, and I use it all the time. I also use my Makeup by Mario liners all the time. These are just traditional kind of gel liners. They work really well in the waterline. So if you want an eyeliner to stay in the waterline, these are really nice. These also do have the little brush on one end. I don't always use the brush, but I do sometimes. I have the Perfect Brown, which is the dark chocolate brown. That's the one I use the most, I would say, but I do also have Soft Brown, which is more of a light, kind of warm caramel kind of brown. I like this one also, but I also really like these from Sephora collection, and these will be 30% off. These are the waterproof 12-hour colorful contour eye pencils. The shade Tiramisu is very, very similar to the Perfect Brown in Makeup by Mario, and I find in terms of lasting in the waterline, they are pretty comparable. If you want just a really good chocolate brown liner for the waterline, maybe go for this one. It's 30% off. I think that makes it like $8 or $9. And it's really nice, really, really nice. These come in a ton of colors too. So I also love those from Sephora collection. For mascara, I only have a few. I don't have a ton of high-end mascaras that I just love, but I love this one. So this is my #1 mascara recommendation. I will be buying a backup of this. This is the YSL Lash Clash mascara in brown. That is what I have on my eyes today. It is such a good mascara. It's so good. It's a really beautiful brown that is an actual brown. It's not like a black brown. So that is it there. It's a really pretty warm milk chocolate brown color. This is a very volumizing mascara, so I don't use this on like a natural makeup day. I use this when I do makeup like this, where I do like a full face, but this adds a ton of volume, and it doesn't flake, it doesn't smudge on me. It does have a bit of a larger wand, so if you don't like that, just keep that in mind. If you have really small eyes, I can see how the wand on this would be a little bit difficult. One other thing I want to mention about this, I don't know if it's just this tube that I have, but I've been using this same tube for months. It's probably time to throw it away, honestly, but I keep using it and it works fine. It doesn't smell weird or anything. So I've had this, I would say at least 4 months, maybe 5, and I still use it. So I don't know, it doesn't seem to dry out super quickly either, which is nice because it is more of an expensive mascara, but I love it. I will be buying a backup. And then the other mascara that I love, I didn't bring it over here, but the Rare Beauty mascara is also really great. It's very similar, I would say, to the YSL. I don't think it gives quite as much volume as the YSL. That one is more, I would say that one gives a little bit more lengthwise than the Lash Clash, but it's also great. I wish so bad that it came in brown. If it came in brown, I would be the happiest person ever because that's a wonderful mascara, but it doesn't. It only comes in black. But if you're looking for something that's not quite as volumizing as the YSL is a look. Like, it gives your lashes, it makes them stand out a lot. So if you're not looking for that, maybe stay away from that, but I love it. I love the Rare Beauty one as well. I did just try the Tower 28 mascara in brown. At this time when I'm filming, the brown color is not available on Sephora, but maybe it will be during the sale. I don't know, but that's also a great mascara that is more for length and separation. That's a great separating mascara. And last, for the lips, I don't have too many lip products. I really tried to narrow this down. Let's start with what I have on my lips today. This lip liner I bought a few months ago and I love it. I wear this one all the time. The Natasha Denona lip liners, so good. This is the I Need a Nude lip liner in the shade Lion, L-I-Y-A-N, shade 2.5. These are so nice, very creamy, but very long lasting. They are very similar to Pat McGrath, which I also love. If you've been around for a while, you know Pat McGrath liners are another one of my favorites. Structure from Pat McGrath is still a favorite. The formula though is very, very similar on these. I like a gel liner, but I want it to last. I don't want it to be so creamy that it just wears away, but both of these formulas last really well on me. I do have the Natasha one on today, but I'll swatch it next to Structure from Pat McGrath so you can see. So they're similar. So this one is Lion from Natasha Denona, and this one is Structure. Structure is a little bit more rosy. Lion is almost like a brown, like a mauvey brown. I don't know. They're very similar though. I use them both all the time, but this lately has been one of my favorite lip liners. I love it. I only have one shade, but there are tons of pretty shades in these from Natasha Denona. But this is the other one I've been using all the time, the Sephora Collection Rouge Gel Lip Liners. So these are retractable, so you just twist them up. This shade in Sink or Suede, Perfection. Perfection. It is a bit cooler toned, but it honestly is very, very close to my natural lip tone, which is why I think I like it so much. So it's the most like pinky one of the three. So that's Sink or Suede by Sephora Collection, but it is almost identical to my lip color. So I feel like I'm just kind of enhancing my natural lips when I use this. And I will say these also are very long wearing for more of a gel formula. Then I do have just two like balmy, glossy kind of lip products, which that is my thing. I'm not a huge lipstick person. I like lipsticks, but I'm definitely more of a gloss and a lip liner person. So these from YSL, I love. These came out earlier this year. The Volupte, or no, these are the Candy Glaze. Rouge Volupte Candy Glaze. I have two of these. This is the one I have on today, which is number 2, which is just like a light pink color. But you guys, this goes with everything. It goes with all those lip liners. You can pair this on top of anything. On top of just lip liner, on top of lipstick. It's so good, but these are so thick and glossy feeling. So if you like a really hydrating, balmy kind of lip product with a lot of shine, this is for you. I also have the shade 15, which is more nude. That one is actually downstairs in my purse. I just leave it in there, but so nice. So nice. Very similar to these, which I've been talking about these since they came out, and they are still to this day a favorite for me. The Makeup by Mario Moisture Glow Lip Serums. They are very similar look-wise on your lips to the YSL. These are not quite as thick feeling on your lips as these, but they're very similar. I have so many of them. This is the shade Blush Glow, but I love them all. Honestly, like look at this color. I mean, look at that color. They're glossy. Ugh, I just love it so much. This is my favorite kind of lip product. A few miscellaneous things. My setting spray that I would recommend, this one, Charlotte Tilbury. It's the best. It's the best. I also love Milk Hydro Grip. But if I had to pick one setting spray, it would be this one. It truly does make a difference in making your makeup last. Period. It's the best. If you want your makeup to last all day, I highly recommend this. Highly, highly, highly. Then, okay, I have one really random thing that I wanted to mention because I've been using this. I've owned it for a while, but I just pulled it out again in the last few weeks and I realized how good it is. This cleaner from Beauty Blender. This is the Beauty Blender Cleanser Solid Charcoal. This does a fantastic job of cleaning your brushes. Fantastic job. And I don't know if it's because of the charcoal in it or what, but you get this little matte in here as well. Mine is really disgusting, so don't look too close, but I've used a ton of it. This literally gets your brushes squeaky clean with very minimal effort. I was finding that I was using the Dr. Bronner's soap for a while, and that does get your brushes clean, but what I was finding is that soap is really hard to rinse out of your brushes. I don't know what it is, but I was having trouble with certain brushes not wanting to like release that soap. Even though I was like going over it and over it with water, it's just like the soap was clinging for dear life. And I feel like some of the time my brushes were kind of looking oily after, and I think it's because the soap residue was stuck in there. Anyway, so that's why I pulled this out and started using this again. This is fantastic. I bought this over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, honestly. So I've only been using this recently, so it's a pretty large container. So it's just a really big like block of this soap in here, but this works really well if you are in the market for a new brush cleaner. This I've been using and I've been loving it, so I haven't been using that Dr. Bronner's anymore. In terms of skincare, I don't use a ton of skincare from Sephora, so that's why I'm not really including it in this video. I use a lot of Korean skincare, a lot of drugstore skincare, and then I do use a retinol that's more expensive, like a medical grade retinol, but I don't use a ton of skincare from Sephora. So even my SPFs that I love are not from Sephora, so that's why I'm not really including any of that in this video. There is one hair product though that I want to close the video with, and I meant to bring mine up here, but I left it downstairs. But I'm sure you've seen this product, but it is actually worth the hype in my opinion. The Day 3-in-1 Styling Cream. It's in the hot pink tube. That stuff I bought last Sephora sale and I love it. Love, love, love it. If you are trying to slick your hair down for any reason, like for a low bun, a high bun, a ponytail, but you want that really sleek look, that is the stuff for you. And the best part about it, it works great for that, but the best part about it to me is even after you style your hair with that stuff, it does not weigh your hair down and make your hair feel sticky or heavy. Some of those products that are made to really like slick your hair back, like the, what is it, the glue stick that everybody loves from Amazon. I also have that. That will really slick your hair back, and it does work if you have a lot of like flyaways, which I do. The only problem I have with that is that it is so sticky and it weighs your hair down, and it's really hard to get out of your hair when you wash it. So I find I don't use it as much. I just go for that Day Styling Cream, and it's fantastic. It has a really nice light scent to it, but it is in fact worth the hype. It was sold out for a really long time. I think it's back now, but if you're in the market for that kind of product, it's great. All right, you guys, I think that is everything. I have officially talked your ear off. I don't even know how long this video was going to be, but I like long videos, and you know, that's just who I am. I like a long YouTube video, what can I say? And I like to share everything with you for these videos. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. I will have everything that I mentioned categorized below and linked. I do use affiliate links, so please keep in mind if you shop through my links, I do make a commission from that, and it goes back into this channel. So if you would like to support me or any other content creators, please use their links. It doesn't cost you any more money to shop through their links. It's just a really nice way of supporting people that you like for free. You don't, obviously you're purchasing something, so it's not free, but you don't have to pay any more to support that creator than you would pay anyway. So support your creators, shop through their links, and we all really do appreciate it. So thank you so much if you do choose to do that. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already, and follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1, and I will see you next time. Remember, simply be you. Bye.